Alright, I just forgot one thing, one important thing. The worst problem that I ran into with this Moen 1222 replacement job was something I hadn't seen on any of these videos, so I'm going to tell you. And the problem is, when I went to put my key slot back in, I could not get that sucker to go in for anything. And I know what it was. It was because of the piece of tile that was on top of the hole that caused me to have to bend the key slot like this to pull it out. And what it did was it put a curl in it. And the problem with that is that when you go to put this back on, there are two tiny little slots at the bottom that this key slot's got to fit down into, and it locks itself into there. And that's what keeps your whole piece from coming out. And you see on these videos where they show you that key slot's got to be all the way down. And if I go through this again, I'm going to buy me what's called a tile nibbler. And a tile nibbler looks like, it actually looks like nail clippers that you would use for your pet. And it's just like a pair of scissors. It's got little teeth on it, and it nibbles. And I'm going to nibble the tile away from where that key slot is, nice and gentle like, and make a nice circular circle over top of where that key slot comes out, because I'm not going to go through this again. I fought that son of a gun for an hour, because like I said, you got to be careful. And I saw the slots. Now when you slide that piece of plastic in, that Moen cartridge in, and it goes into those two brass slots, that piece of plastic, there's still a little bit of play in it. And I had to wind up using, I could see that it was slightly like this a little bit in the slot relative to the two holes. It wasn't necessarily like that visually, but I could see that looking at the two holes, one of the holes was open and one of the holes was almost closed. And those two teeth, the bottom of those two teeth got to go into those holes. So I turned it, and I used I used punches to hold the two teeth in, and I mean, I tapped down on it, and I tapped down on it, and I cussed it, and I called it every name in the planet, and I pulled it up, and I pulled it out, and I looked at it, and I put it back in, turned it around and put it back in. But finally, and I even called on the Lord. I said, God, I need your help here, because this don't look like it's going back in. And 3 minutes later, after I said that, I was sitting there and I was tapping on it with a screwdriver. I had it all lined up. I had the teeth lined up, and I had the weird way about this opening is I can put a screwdriver in, and I can put it down like this, and I can tap on the top of it with a hammer. And I was tapping on it to tap straight down, and it went and it went click. So I just wanted to pass that on to you, because that was the one biggest pain in the rump about this change, was getting that key slot to go in there. And like I said, next time I do this, if I got to go in there again, I'm going to go right down when I'm at Lowe's. I'm going to buy me a tile nibbler, and I'm going to nibble a hole over top of that key slot. And I might get a new key if I can find one, because I've already damaged that key, and I didn't want to do that. But you know, you try to get things done. I'm trying not to cuss here. You try to get stuff done. But anyway, if you pull the key slot up, and you find out it's hitting something, you might want to stop and go down and get a nibbler or get a screwdriver or something. You got to be careful about ceramic tiles in bathrooms, because you can break the whole damn tile out. You can tap on it with a screwdriver and go plink, and that whole tile is gone. And you can repair it pretty easy with some silicone caulk, and it'll look like it was repaired with some silicone caulk. But you don't want to have to go through that. So I just want to pass on that information about the key slot. You got to treat that key slot very well. Hopefully try to get it to come out straight up without any pressure on it, because it goes in those two very precision slots beside that collar at the bottom. Those two teeth go in there and they hook. It's a genius design if you think about it. It's just a pain in the ass if the geniuses who put your plumbing in recessed it behind the tile. Thanks, guys. Ding, 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 ding. Thanks a lot, buddy. Well, you're welcome, son. Ding. Anyway, it's done. And I hope that when you go to do this, you have as little trouble as I had doing mine. Just watch out for that Keyslot, okay? Have a good day, and God bless everybody.